Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're lacing up and taking a look at the Nike ZoomX Vaporfly Next 3.
Oh yeah, this one's gonna be fun.
It really is. You know, based on all the articles and study guides and product descriptions you sent over, I gotta say, I'm impressed. You really wanted to do a deep dive on these shoes, huh?
Yeah, and I'm excited to get into it. Clearly, someone's thinking of buying a pair, maybe training for a marathon, or hey, maybe you just love all the hype around this shoe.
Well, whatever the reason, we've got you covered. We went through everything you sent, and we're here to break it all down.
So let's get to it. Like, what makes this shoe so special? Why all the fuss?
Yeah, it's definitely not your everyday running shoe, you know? It's designed for serious runners, the competitive type, who are going the distance, like 10Ks all the way to marathons.
You got it. And actually, the sources even say who exactly this shoe is for: men. You know, those training hard more than twice a week. They got to have neutral stability and be under 75 kilograms.
Wow, so pretty specific. Okay, so high performance, designed for a certain kind of runner. But what makes it so high-tech? I keep seeing this ZoomX foam. What's the deal with that?
ZoomX foam. It's like Nike's secret weapon, their super foam, made to give you the most energy return. Like the more you put in, the more you get back, pushing you forward. And get this, for this Vaporfly Next 3 through, they made this foam even better.
Wow, even better. And speaking of better, we all know drop's a big deal for how you run, right? How efficient you are. This one has an 8mm drop. What does that even mean for, say, someone who's used to a different drop?
Oh, good question. That 8mm drop, that's the difference between the heel and the front of your foot, is actually pretty high. Now, it can be good. It can help some runners move faster from heel to toe, which is great for speed. But it could also stress your calves and Achilles, especially if you're used to a lower drop. So, gotta know what works best for you, right?
Totally. It's about finding that balance, right? Energy return and what works for your body.
Exactly. And in this Vaporfly, they actually refined the ZoomX foam using this new process. Creates all these tiny air pockets inside, so lighter, but still with that awesome cushioning and responsiveness. Best of both worlds.
I see. It makes a big difference on those long runs. But it's not just about the foam, right? I keep hearing carbon fiber fly plate. What is that exactly?
That's the other big thing. Full-length carbon fiber runs the whole shoe, gives the Vaporfly that snappy feel. It's kind of like a springboard. Stiffens the shoe so you lose less energy when you push off. Runs more efficiently, keeps your speed up, less effort.
That's really cool. So not just bouncing back, but using that energy to move forward.
Yeah, exactly. It works with how you naturally run, so it's smooth, no wasted energy. Some runners say it feels like the shoe is actually pushing them, like giving them an extra boost.
Starting to get why there's so much hype now. But with all this speed and tech, what about comfort? You know, how your feet feel after running a while.
Yeah.
Oh, Nike didn't forget about that. This one's got a Flyknit upper, made of these strong, flexible fibers, so it fits like a sock, breathable, and supports your foot. Super important for those long hauls.
Right. And they mentioned a lateral lacing system.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that helps with comfort, too.
For sure. Smart design, actually. They move the laces a bit outward, takes the pressure off the tendons on top of your foot, you know, where a lot of runners get pain, especially on those longer runs, so way more comfortable.
Wow, it's not just about cushion. It's like they're thinking about those specific pressure points runners feel. That's clever.
Exactly. And they even use these offset seams in the upper, so less rubbing and blisters. Every little detail matters for performance and comfort on long runs.
So we've got the big three, ZoomX foam, carbon fiber fly plate, and the Flyknit upper. What other details stood out to you from all the stuff you read?
Well, the outsole is interesting. Super thin to make it light, but they managed to make it tough and grippy. And they added holes in the upper for ventilation, keeps your feet cool and dry, even when you're really pushing it. Oh, and for all you data nerds out there, it's got an 8mm drop and weighs just 181 grams, size 42.
181 grams. Seriously, that's like nothing.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if it's actually durable enough being that light.
Good point. They say it is, but some runners are worried about it wearing out fast, especially for the price.
Ah, yes, the price. Let's talk about that. This Vaporfly Next 3 isn't cheap, is it?
Nope, it's $270.
That's a lot, especially compared to those other shoes you were looking at. The Brooks Ghost 16 at $150 and the Nike ZoomX Streakfly at $160.
Yeah, big difference. And they're not doing any discounts on this model, apparently, though they do let you pay in 3 installments.
So really for those dedicated runners who want the best and are willing to pay for it.
Seems like it. Makes you think, though. Who is this shoe really for? And what's this price doing to the average runner?
Great questions, and ones we should definitely dig into. But first, Let's recap what we've learned so far.
Sounds good to me. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of who this shoe is really for after the break.
All right, so we've covered a lot about this Vaporfly Next Percent 3, all that tech, all those details. But what does it all mean for someone who wants to actually run in these shoes?
Yeah, it's like we've got all these pieces of a puzzle, the foam, the plate, the upper, even that price tag. What's the big picture? What do they all add up to?
Exactly. It's got to come together somehow, especially if you're thinking of actually running in these things.
Well, think of it this way. This shoe, it solves a very specific problem for a very specific kind of runner.
Okay, now I'm really curious. Who is this shoe really made for?
Imagine you're a competitive runner. Your goal is to push yourself, get better times, maybe even shave off seconds, minutes from your best time ever. In that world, every little bit helps, right?
I get it. And I bet that's where this Vaporfly comes in. It's all about that extra edge.
Exactly. They're not just comfy, though that's important too, especially on long runs. They're made for speed, for efficiency, to help you get the most out of every step.
So how does all that fancy tech actually make you run faster? It still seems kind of magical to me.
Not magic, science. It's all about energy and how your body moves. That ZoomX foam with that special structure and how it bounces back, it works with the carbon fiber plate to give you that spring in your step. And remember, the plate stiffens the shoe. That's key. Less energy lost when your foot goes from heel to toe, so you run more efficiently.
So the shoe is working with your body, making each step count.
Yeah. Add in that super light design, and yeah, you might be breaking some records, but let's be real, not everyone's out there winning marathons, really.
So true. So for someone who just wants to stay fit, enjoy a run, do they need these shoes? Especially with that price tag.
That's the million-dollar question, right? I mean, it's a cool shoe, amazing tech, but is it for everyone?
Exactly. If you're not racing, wouldn't a regular running shoe be enough? Comfy, supportive, and cheaper.
For sure. Gotta know what you need, what's important to you. If you're a casual runner, you want cushioning, stability, comfort. There are tons of great shoes out there that won't cost you a fortune.
Yeah, like those other shoes we mentioned before, the Brooks Go 16 and the Nike ZoomX Streakfly. Different features, different prices.
See, it's about the right tool for the job. For a lot of runners, those other shoes will do the trick. No need to spend a ton of money.
So it sounds like this Vaporfly, even with all its bells and whistles, is kind of niche, even for runners.
You could say that. Specialized tool for a specialized job. But it's still super innovative, really pushes what's possible with running shoes. And that's exciting, right?
Definitely. And it makes you think about the future of running.
Yeah.
This tech advantage, does it make things fairer, or is it creating a new kind of gap?
Deep question, man. Not an easy answer, but worth thinking about. What role does tech have in sports? How do we even define fair anymore?
Lots to think about. But I think we've given our listener a good understanding of this Vaporfly Next Percent 3.
I think so. We've covered the tech, who it's for, all the hype, even the cost. Now you can decide if it fits your goals, what's important to you as a runner.
Before we wrap up, I have one more question. A big one for anyone thinking of buying these shoes.
Oh, let's hear it.
We've talked about the good stuff, the benefits, but what about the downsides? What are the trade-offs? No shoe is perfect.
Totally. It's easy to get caught up in the new shiny thing and forget to look at the whole picture. What are the downsides?
So what should buyers watch out for before dropping €270 €0 on these Vaporflies?
Well, durability. Remember how thin that outsole is? It makes the shoe light, but it might not last as long. Some runners say they wear out fast, and for that price.
So yeah, top performance, but maybe not for putting in hundreds of miles.
Right. Gotta choose. Light and fast, or tough and long-lasting. And that 8mm drop we talked about could be great for some, but puts stress on your calves and Achilles, especially if you're not used to it.
So know your body, know how you run. A high drop isn't for everyone.
Exactly. And, well, there's that price tag. $270 is a lot, even for serious runners. And if they wear out fast, you'll be buying new ones more often. Costs add up.
It's a lot to consider for sure. So the Vaporfly Next Percent 3, it's impressive, but it's not a magic bullet.
Yeah, it's a tool, a really fancy one, but still just a tool. Gotta know what it's good for, what it's not good for, and most importantly, is it the right tool for you?
Well said. We've really gotten into the weeds with this shoe, haven't we? But I always like to leave our listeners with something to think about, a little extra something.
I love it. What you got?
We talked about the Vaporfly's impact, the tech, the ethics, but it made me think about something else.
Go on.
We focused on who the shoe is, FOR. Men under 75 kilograms, competitive. But what about everyone else? Women, older runners, people of all shapes, sizes, how fast they run.
Whoa, that's deep. Makes you think about who's included, who's not, and not just with shoes, but with running itself.
Right. Anyone can run. It's for everyone. But most of the fancy stuff, the marketing, it's all for a very specific kind of runner.
Like, is everyone getting the same chances to benefit from new tech? Are we accidentally creating divisions in the sport by focusing on just one type of runner?
Yeah, big questions. And important ones as we think about the future of running. As runners ourselves, as a society that wants everyone to be included, to have the same chances. Maybe that's where the real innovation is. Not just faster shoes, but shoes that help every runner reach their potential, no matter who they are, how old they are, how they look, what their goals are.
You said it. The industry needs to wake up, see all the different people who love running, and make products for them.
So while this Vaporfly is pushing boundaries, it's also showing us that we need to do better. More inclusive, more representative.
Innovation should be for everyone. That's the message.
Absolutely. We've definitely given our listener a lot to chew on today.
For sure. And hopefully it'll start more conversations about the future of running and how we can make it more inclusive.
On that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the Nike ZoomX Vaporfly Next.
It's been quite a journey, right? Exploring the tech, the marketing, and what it all means. Hopefully you're feeling more informed, maybe even a little more curious about the world of running.
And that's what we're all about, giving you the knowledge, the insights, so you can make your own informed choices. Not just about running shoes, but about everything.
Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep those deep dive suggestions coming. We love learning with you.
Until next time, happy running.
And happy thinking.
So we've really gone deep on this Vaporfly. Next per seeing here, huh? All the tech, the user, the good, the bad.
Yeah, a real whirlwind tour. Hopefully it's given you a better sense of what this shoe's about. And hey, maybe spark some curiosity about the whole world of running, too.
You've been a great guide, I feel like we've given our listener everything they need to make a choice, or at least talk shoes with the best of them.
That's what we're going for. Knowledge, insights, not just throwing facts around.
Speaking of choices, one thing that really stood out to me, all the marketing for these shoes. It's everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's in your face. They're selling this Vaporfly as the ultimate game changer. Break your limits, reach peak performance. But like with any ad, gotta look past the hype, right? What really matters for you as a runner, as a person?
It's so easy to get swept up in all that, to forget what you actually need, what you're looking for. So how can we be smarter about it, as consumers when we see these new products, all these promises?
That's the question. I love this. It starts with asking yourself, what am I trying to do? What do I need? And what won't I compromise on?
I like that. Simple, but important. So if you're all about competition, shaving seconds off your time, pushing the limits, then maybe this Vaporfly is worth it, even with that price.
Right. But if you're more about enjoying the run, comfort, stability, and not spending a fortune, there's no need to buy into all the hype. Plenty of other great shoes out there.
And that's why having all this info, like the research you brought, is so helpful. Seeing those comparisons to the Brooks Ghost 16 and the Nike ZoomX Streetfly, they offer different things at different prices.
Exactly. The more you know, the better choices you make. It's your money, your feet, your run. Do your research, compare, and decide what's right for you.
So even though we focused on one specific shoe, I think it's a good reminder to be aware, Think critically about all the stuff we buy, not just running shoes.
Absolutely. New gadgets, health trends, whatever it is. Don't just believe what they tell you. Dig a little, ask questions, and most importantly, think for yourself.
Couldn't say it better myself. Well, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the Nike ZoomX Vaporfly Next Percent 3.
It's been a trip, hasn't it? All that tech, the marketing, what it all means for runners. Hopefully we've given you some food for thought about running, about being a consumer in this crazy world.
We dug into the nitty-gritty, looked at the marketing, challenged some ideas, explored how this shoe is changing running, and how we can make it more inclusive for all kinds of runners.
We covered a lot. It's been fun sharing this deep dive with you.
You know what they say, knowledge is power. And hopefully you're leaving here feeling a little more powerful, ready to make your own choices, not just about shoes, but about everything.
And hey, keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and keep those deep dive suggestions coming. We love learning with you.
Until next time, happy running.
Happy thinking.